What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane here. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my new listing strategy that is absolutely helping me move properties, even in the shifting market, even as we see things change on a day-to-day basis with the interest rates and home prices and all of that. So we're going to dive into that exact strategy next, so stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Jeremy Kane, Realtor Playbook here. Super excited for this one today. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let's start the conversation, as I'm always looking to hear new information from realtors alike and just coming together as a real estate agent community and building this thing up and making game plans for success across the board. If you're interested in chatting about partnering someday, please check this link out right here. Would love to discuss more about what our group is doing to absolutely go head on into this shift and build our businesses so we come out on the other side absolutely crushing it with our best business year yet. All right, so here's the listing strategy. As we've seen in the Colorado market, and I'm going to use this just for Colorado numbers. Obviously, I understand that every market's a little bit different, but in Colorado, we were seeing a six-figure over asking price at the beginning of this year, and now things have kind of come back. And this year, the time of recording is 2022. So this is what I'm doing right now during this shift, and right away made an impact to make this happen. So what I do is I typically go into a home. All agents have gone into homes lately and they're like, okay, this is kind of what the highest price sold for. Yours is kind of most like this one. We can probably sell it for $20,000 more, but maybe let's list it $5,000 over that number. And we were getting it. Sometimes it's 5-6 figure over asking price, you know, if it was really the perfect time in the spring to buy, or the spring in January, as we say in Denver. So as we continue to push forward here, now that's kind of what we're expecting as sellers, right? When we go into homes, sellers are like, yeah, well, Joe Bob sold their house for $800,000. Why do I have to list it for $775 or whatever that may be? And so as I started looking at this, I was like, okay, how can I help change the seller's mindset going into this? Because I can see that there are absolutely outliers in our market, right? Because if something sold, we've always looked back like 6 months, right? If something sold, was listed in March and sold in April, it's a very different market right now. And that was just kind of bidding wars, and emotion was kind of driving those prices up. Now, you still get some of that gain as the seller. I know for right now that some of those outliers, some of those things that were, you know, six figures, $150,000 over asking, that's not where the market is. It's kind of come back. So those are our outliers, right? Those are the Russell Wilson houses that jacked the average price point in Denver up a crazy amount in the month that he actually sold that property or bought that property. So we kind of get rid of the outliers, and I knew that from a mathematical perspective that was smart. It was something that was different because the outlier was like the starting point for listings before this. But now I know that those are outliers. I can kind of see it. So what I do is I go back 12 months from the day of the listing appointment or the conversation. I say, okay, on this day, your house was worth X amount of dollars. So let's take this for example. I have a house that I was running some numbers on. There's an actively listed home at 710,000, similar square foot, but it does have a finished basement. There's also a comp that's exactly the same that sold for $710,000 that has an unfinished basement, is exactly like this home that I'm probably going to sell. So I said, okay, let's take the range. So 710 minus 525, which is what it was priced at 12 months ago, and now I have $185,000. Now, from that $185,000, I take 75% of that, which is $138,000 in gain. So I add that to the 525. So say we have 140,000 plus 525, and you're at, you know, somewhere around 665, 675 is kind of the suggested list price for a quicker sale. The market would kind of react to that. You would have no appraisal problems because you have the comp at 710, but that's kind of where it's looking to move versus starting at 710 because that's the market, or starting a little higher like we have been and bringing it back down slowly. Then we're paying more money in mortgage payments because it's going to take a little bit, and it's sitting there, as well as it sees it declining. So then someone's like, oh, maybe I can take an opportunity opportunity on this, maybe I'll take a chance, or should I wait another week and see if it drops again? And then maybe I can beat them up on inspection. So I think if we just start at that number, you kind of hit that price point, and people kind of will be like, oh, and even multiple offers are happening when homes are priced this way. Now, what I tell the client is, well, 12 months ago, your home was worth $138,000 less than it is today. So you're still getting that gain. You're just not getting that emotional high from those bidding wars. And they love that. They take it up, they eat it up. And that's exactly why I do it, is to help them understand, okay, let's be grateful for this amazing equity that we've had over the last couple of years. And this strategy has worked. And it might be a little bit different. It might be 65% in your market or 85%. But if we can take, from their perspective and say, wow, look at this gain that you've had over the last year. Now, these are some outliers, and I'm going to tell you right now that that's not the best pricing strategy, but you did gain $140,000. Did you make $140,000 at your job last year? The answer is usually probably no, maybe, whatever at this price point. And they say no. And I'm like, well, that's cool. You own the house. In this instance, it was a rental, so someone was even paying a little bit of your principal down, and here we are, right? That's pretty cool. So then they're like, yeah, where do I sign? And then you list it, and it goes a lot better. I did this with the house I just closed in Longmont, the one that Open Door offered on that I already mentioned in another video previously, and we listed at 500. There was some comps like 520, 535. We listed at 500. First weekend, went under contract at 525. So it was still working. That was right at the beginning when it was starting to shift, and that was kind of our game plan, but we knew it was shifting because I was up on the market. But those are the strategies that I've implemented, and kind of by that, using that example, that's kind of where I came up with about 75%. And then I look at the numbers and make sure it's, makes sense, make sure there's no recent comps that are, a little bit, better or worse in that spot. So that's just a tip and trick. If you're interested in more tips and tricks or partnering, please check out that link below. I'll put it right here, and would love to chat with you about changing your life and leveling up your business even through this recession and tighter market. Let's go. Talk to you soon.